So we'll start in a seat. So fun. I used to teach outdoor yoga classes a lot in Pittsburgh, actually, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. And there's some people that love it, some people that find it hard because there's like so many different sounds, like you're not as much in a container. But I find it to be really lovely. It's like a different type of practice, right? So, with that in mind, just take a seat. And your hands can rest wherever you'd like, maybe on your knees, maybe in your lap. You might even then close your eyes. And just start to observe. And if your mind is instantly like, what do I observe? Like, where do I go? Just soften that reaction right away if you can. And then just bring your awareness, start with your senses. So, what do you hear? And just become a little less attached to the need to react to those sounds. And then maybe just allow them to anchor you into this present moment. And maybe you even notice sounds that you were just unaware of before. And bring your awareness to where your body touches the ground underneath you, whatever it's supporting, or it's supported by, rather. And can you feel the sense of grounding down, just landing exactly where you are, knowing it's exactly where you need to be? Showing up just as you are, regardless of maybe what has happened so far in your day. And see if you can sit up just a little bit taller as you take your next breath in. So, inviting in that sort of like rising energy with your inhale. And then as you exhale, come back to that same awareness of your seat grounding down. Maybe that means you soften the shoulder. And do that just a few times. So notice your inhale. Can you sit up just a little bit taller, chest a little bit broader? And your exhale, you find a little more grounding, bringing the earth underneath you. And on your next breath in, I want you to again think about lengthening, sitting up a little taller. And then can you slightly draw your shoulders back, just enough so you feel the collarbones expand, and then maybe even flip your palms up towards the sky. So there's also like this mantra or mudra rather with your hands that you can start to take this idea of your palms facing up and your chest being open to just maybe being open to receive a little bit more of maybe something that you'd like to bring in a little bit more of into your day, or even into your like physical body, whether it's softening or ease, strength, or if it is maybe just this like sense of emotional peace, ease, maybe even emotional strength, whatever that is, just maybe become a little more open to receiving that through your practice, through your time today. And take a breath in, a breath out. And two more like that. Big breath in, grounding breath out. Last one, in and out. If you'd like, you can stay here, of course, as long as you need. If this is like exactly where you want to stay and be. If you'd like to find a little more movement, you can maybe even blink the eyes open and reach the arms up overhead. Maybe even interlace the fingers and press your palms up towards the sky. Maybe even look up towards your fingers here. Feel the front of your throat start to open up. Take one more breath in. And then a breath out to grab maybe opposite wrists behind you, or place palm over palm on your low back. Take a breath in to maybe bring the elbows back a little bit further behind you and squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then as you exhale, release that. Walk one hand over to the right and then reach your other hand up towards the sky. So you just tip over towards one side and stretch laterally here in between the ribs. Come back up through center and you'll walk your other hand over, reach the hand up, and you'll lean. And come back up, take one more big breath and reach your fingertips high overhead, maybe even look up if you like. And then release the hands down, walk them forward and meet me in tabletop pose. And once you're there, spread your fingers nice and wide. Your toes can either be tucked under or untucked. And then take a breath in to find cow pose. Breath out to find cat pose. And then move with your breath here. So finding that linking of moving with your breath, the linking of movement and breath. Inhaling into cow pose, and then exhaling, rounding into cat. So just moving through those two shapes. Start to move through the spine a little bit more. And keep your hands grounded. If you'd like, you can stay here or tuck the toes under and just start to lift your seat up and back. Find a downward facing dog, but keep your knees bent. And then maybe even pedal the feet. So bending one knee at a time and pressing the heel down towards the ground. So you're getting the lengthening, just like pedaling out the legs. Take one more breath in right here, and then drop your knees back down. Walk your hands up your thighs. You'll rise up onto your knees here. And again, reach the hands up and overhead. Big breath in, interlace the fingers. Press the palms up like you did before. Look up towards your hands. So nice. And then exhale, bring your hands to your low back, just like you did before. Either palm over palm, or you can grab, maybe we'll start to inch a little bit closer together and you grab opposite wrists or forearms. Your choice. And take a breath in to lift the chest up. Little easy back bend. And then exhale to release. Now step your right foot forward. So you're coming into a lunge. And start to drop your right hand down next to your right hip, or you can bring it to your hip, your choice. Reach the left hand up as you inhale. And then like you did in a seat, I want you to lean over to the right. And so you're reaching with the left fingertips. You're finding that length laterally, but now also through the front of the hip. One more big breath in, and then you'll come back up to center. Take your hands down in front of your foot, or the inside of your foot rather. You can tuck your toes under for a moment and lift that back knee up. And just maybe take a little bit of a stretch in this lunge. And then spin that back heel down and come up to warrior two. So nice. And like forces me to go a little bit lower just so I can keep my head in the frame. This is perfect. And so as you start to bend your right knee, can you feel the strength in your legs? But can you find the ease and the softening in your shoulders? Excellent. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Straighten the legs here and then parallel the feet. You'll face the long edge of your mat and then just fold forward. You walk your hands to the ground and you can even bend your knees and maybe even find a little movement here. So kind of like we did in down dog, just like bending one knee at a time, shifting the weight from one side to the other. Excellent. And then see your right foot. I want you to frame it and come back into that lunge. Drop your left knee back down. Now spin your back foot. This is a little tricky, but try and use my words carefully. So your back foot, your left foot, you'll bring it over to the right. And then you'll just come up to this sort of modified warrior two here. So your right knee is bent just like before. So this is also an option if you want to stay closer to the ground, and warrior two is just like, you know, not as much heat as you want. You could stay here. And then take a full breath in. You'll reach your right hand up to the sky. Find extended side angle. So modified extended side angle. Forearm comes to your thigh. Left arm, reach up overhead. So again, you're finding that lateral length. Maybe as you move around a little bit, get like curious on what it takes to create that stretch across the front of the left hip. Awesome. And then come back up, arms out wide, and then meet me in tabletop pose. Nothing super fancy. A round of cat-cow to reset. Breathe in to lift the heart. And then exhale to round. And do that one more time. Breathe in to find cow. Breathe out to find cat. Coming back to neutral, walk your hands up your knees. Rise up onto your knees. And start to reach your hands up overhead like before. One last time here to interlace the fingers. Press your palms up. Maybe even look up. And then release. Hand over hand on your low back, or grab opposite forearms. Maybe opposite elbows, but not a requirement. And then can you lift your sternum a little bit more? Maybe even your chin will follow. One more big breath in. And then release the arm. Step your left foot forward, coming into that lunge, close to the ground. Left hand can stay or just drop down over to the left, reach the right arm up. Big breath in. And then tip your torso over to the left. And really reach through the right fingertips. One more big breath in here. So nice. And then you'll come back up. Bring the hands down inside the left foot, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, pause here for a moment, find strength in the back leg. To then spin your right heel, your back heel down, and come up to that warrior two. So now your left knee is bent, your right leg is long. Arms out long to the sides. Again, softening the shoulders, softening the jaw, softening the face. Maybe even look over your front fingertips. Take a full breath in and out. Keep that strength in the legs, even as you lengthen them. And then parallel the feet, face the long edge of your mat, other side, and then you get to fold forward. And you can find the sort of like side lunge action here. I've been taking like a lot of like lateral lunges lately in my own practice. Feels really good. And just 1 or 2 more rounds of breath here on your own. And if you are in that forward fold and you just want to like fold forward, press down through the feet evenly if you're there. And start to look to your left foot. You'll frame it like before in that low lunge. Drop the right knee. Reach the hands up overhead. Oh, I lied. Bring the hands back down. That funky movement, we forgot it. So the right foot will come over to the left side of your mat, just to come up to that modified warrior two. Now reverse here. Your left hand will rise for a moment, and then drop left forearm to your left thigh. Right arm will reach alongside your ear. And maybe you just lean the torso back a bit or bring it forward. Your choice. Take one more inhale. Just think about the line from your knee out to your fingertips lengthening. Come back to that modified warrior two. Arms go long. And then bring your hands down. Swing that left leg behind you. Find tabletop. Last round of cat-cow here. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale, press into your hands and round. Nice. And then come back to neutral. Send your right leg behind you. Start to just let it float for a moment so you can roll the ankle, fan out the toes. And then keep that leg long, but tuck the toes under onto the ground. Press back through the heel so you get that stretch through the back of the leg again. Spin the heel down, reach the right arm up. Take a big breath in here. And then right hand reaches forward. So lots of lateral work today. Lengthening to the sides. Hopefully to create a little bit more space in the torso. And start to keep the legs as they are. Rise up with the arms out like a T, kind of like you did before in warrior two. And then drop your right hand down the leg and reach the left hand up. You can choose to look at your fingertips, play with balance a little bit, or look down towards the ground. One more inhale here. And you'll bring the hands back down to the ground. Lift that right leg up behind you. Find the three-legged tabletop, we'll call it. And then bring your right knee next to the left. Left leg goes behind you. Let it float, that three-legged tabletop. But you just switch legs. So roll the ankle, fan out the toes. Maybe find a little movement in the neck. That feels good too. And then tuck the left toes under, pressed back through the heel. And spin the heel down. Now it's the left hand that will reach up. The right hand stays down. Reach the left hand overhead, like towards the front of your mat. And take one more big breath in here. Find that length, maybe even a little bit of like arching to create more space and stretch. And then you'll come up, keep the legs the same, the arms out like a T. To then drop the left hand down, right arm up. You can even look up towards your hand. For me, it's like looking straight up towards the sun. It's actually quite nice. And come back, hands on the ground, left leg, let it float behind you just for a moment. And drop the left knee next to the right. Swing your legs around and take a seat. You for a moment before we start to like lie down a bit more, just come back to that easy seat. So whatever that looks like for you, maybe it's like one shin in front of the other. Maybe it's coming onto your knees. Maybe it's sitting on a pillow or a block. Return to it and start with your palms down on your knees. We're going to do a little bit of a breathing exercise, but we're going to use our hands. So we talked a little bit actually about that apana vayu, that upward energy when we breathe in, and then that grounding energy as we breathe out. But we're going to actually use our hands in that upward motion and downward motion in tandem with the breath. So start with your hands facing down just for a moment to feel that grounding, and then find the lift of the crown of the head and a softening of the shoulders. Take a full breath in. Grounding breath out. Now flip your palms up and see if you can keep everything else the same. So the face is in and full of ease. The shoulders are somewhat full of ease. The jaw is soft. The spine is long. See if you can keep that, and then bring your palms out in front of you just a bit, like you were like holding a big platter right in front of you. So arms not long, rather your elbows still are like tucked along your sides here. And then as you take your next breath in, I'd like you to lift your palms up, almost like to the height of your shoulders as you inhale. And then as you exhale, flip your palms down and then bring them back down to about like where your waistline is. So that is our movement through our breath. We're going to do a few rounds together. As you breathe in, flip the palms up, they rise. As you exhale, palms slip down and let them float down. Again, flip them up, they rise. Palms slip down, they fall. Maybe even close the eyes. Let it be like meditation in movement and breath. They rise. Exhale, they fall. Take about 5 more rounds on your own if it's helpful. If it's not, let it go. Release it. So you've completed your final round. Allow the palms to flip down onto the knees, but maintain that length in the spine, softening. In the shoulders, in the breath, maybe even in the mind as a result. And take a breath in and out. Maybe coming back to that intention that you set when you were open to receiving it, and then flip your palms up. Keep everything else the same, just flip your palms up. Coming back to that idea that you are open to receiving what it is maybe you might want or could use a little bit more of, whether it's patience, ease, softening, energy, all of the above. Just bring that to your mind. And again, take a breath in. This time, slowly hold it at the top. And then open up your mouth. Maybe letting out that sigh. And if you'd like to take your rest here in a seat in meditation, you are absolutely welcome to. And if you'd like to lie down, that also sounds nice. You can lie down on your back. If you want to take any final movements here, you can hug your knees in, maybe a little rock of the sacrum on the ground. If you want to twist, the supine twist here, you can take it. Maybe even a long body stretch. And then find ease, find rest. Whether it's the arms coming down along your sides or letting the hands rest on your belly. Come back to that place of observation. Softening the need to react or to do. Give yourself permission to land just as you are. And back just to that observation of your breath. Rise and fall. So I'm noticing even though you are lying down, there's that capacity to expand or lengthen in the inhale. To ground on your exhale. And start to just invite in a little more movement. Just in your fingers, in your toes. And even rock your head gently side to side. Bend your knees. Maybe even take a moment to pause. Knees fall over to one side. And just press yourself up to find a seat right where you started. Again, sitting up tall, just a little more ease here. Maybe a little more ease than when you first started. And stay here or bring your hands together in front of your heart. Maybe even bow your chin towards that space. And coming back to your intention, maybe keeping that intention for the rest of your day, the rest of your week, or maybe just using it as an exercise to just check in with yourself. Maybe think about what you're open to receiving and maybe using your breath as the catalyst to draw in more of that intention. At any moment, any time, take a breath in and out. You might even bring your thumb tips to the center of your forehead. Maybe lift your chin, lift your face. Remembering to be kind to yourself, share that kindness with others. Namaste.